Hey guys, welcome back to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So today we're back with a Graves basic guide, and as you guys can see, I'm slowly transitioning to doing basic guides for non-ADC champs, because obviously we've already covered all of the ADC champs, but today we're going to be covering Graves. So Graves is the sort of jungle that is sort of a hyper carry jungler. He really starts to come online when you hit like 3 items onwards. 2 items he's pretty alright as well. But he's the kind of jungle that farms extremely quickly. He has one of the fastest jungle clears in the game, one of the healthiest jungle clears in the game. You should pretty much be able to clear the jungle at like full health. And he basically becomes a late game carry for your team, a lot like an ADC, but with a lot shorter range. However, he doesn't really have any CC, so in games where you are behind, it can be very hard to come back from. But anyways, without further ado, let's jump straight into our practice tool and of course go ahead and cover Graves' skills. Okay, so Graves' passive is honestly a little bit difficult to explain, but I'm gonna try my best here and we're gonna slowly get through the whole shebang. So first up, I am giving myself max level. There we go. Spawn myself an enemy dummy. Okay, so first up, you see those 2 bullets behind, not behind, under your health bar. That's his like ammo. So basically what happens is Graves only has 2 shots, like that, boom, 1, 2, and then he has to reload. Like that, 1, 2, reload. So the significance of this is he shoots 4 bullets per shot. So if you stand far away, maybe not all of the bullets are actually going to hit the enemies, but if you stand right next to them, all 4 bullets will actually hit. So you can see here, I'm hitting with all 4 bullets, and here I'm not hitting with all 4 bullets, so I'm doing less damage as a result. So something to note is that if you build attack speed, it will reduce the time it will reduce the time between your shots. So here you can see there's a lag between shots. So 1 shot, there's a lag, second shot. So that time will reduce, and the reload time will also go down if you buy attack speed. So if you buy crit, on the other hand, your bullets can indeed crit. Let me just give myself a couple of gold to demonstrate this. So let me just get full crit. So here you can see when you crit, instead of 4 bullets, you're gonna shoot 6 bullets like that, as you guys can see here. So here I'm gonna stand closer. You can see, boom, 6 bullets to the face of this enemy, like so. So something else to take note of, let me just check if I missed anything out, but something else to take note of is the knockback effect on Graves. So yeah, didn't miss anything out. So here, anything that's not a champion will get knocked back. So here, for example, on the Krugs, when you attack the Krugs, they're going to get pushed back, as you guys can see. So this is really helpful for farming the jungle, because this is going to push back jungle monsters away from you like that. Of course, I'm pretty much just one-shotting the non-large jungle monsters at this point, but here you can see it's pushing it away. Like that's pushing it away. This works on minions as well, but I'm going to pretty much one-shot minions at this point like that, so really hard to demonstrate. Yeah. So maybe if I can, yeah. So anyways, yeah, you guys get the basic idea. Maybe if we try it on a buff, it could be a little bit easier. Let's try and go over here. Yeah, so like that, you can see it pushes the buff back, but I pretty much just 2-shot the buff at this point. I like at full build, obviously you are going to pretty much just 1-shot everything. That kind of makes sense. Alright, so anyways, let's just jump into talking about what his ability does. So his Q, basically you can see it's this weird like T-shape. What it does is basically it does damage in a T-shape, and then it's gonna explode and come back to you. So anybody hit anywhere on the T-shape is going to get damage. So let me give myself 0 CD here. So you can see here, if you're right next to an enemy, if you shoot, this line is going to do, that T-shape damage. Comeback is gonna do more damage again. So you saw that when you release it outward, it actually does like 180 damage at this point. If you hit it at the tip, it's gonna pretty much just do the same damage. Let me just show that a little bit better. Like that. So here you can see that that basically on that line it's gonna actually do damage, but at the tip at the line is gonna actually do that 169 damage or whatnot. But if you just launch it out, the outgoing part from the tip is actually not gonna do any damage. So as you guys have noticed, after you launch out your bullet, it's gonna explode, boom, into that tip of the T, and then it's gonna come back. So The tip of the T and the coming back part is going to do damage. So here, maybe I just put different enemy dummies here to kind of demonstrate. So here you can see on the outgoing part, only the first dummy is going to get hit because of the T shape. But the second dummy is going to get hit, the further away dummy is going to get hit by the explosion as well as, you know, the pullback. So here you can see the first dummy, boom, and the pullback. Of course, if you angle it in the middle, the second dummy will also get hit by the launch, but if you like angle it at the side, the side is not going to actually, you know, do any damage on the outgoing. It's only going to do damage on, you know, on return. So like that, boom, like that. So a small trick you can do with this is if you launch it against the wall, the return is going to come back instantly. So like this, boom, it's going to come back instantly. So this is going to increase your DPS by a lot instead of having to wait that full 1 second for it to come back. If you launch against the wall, it's going to come back immediately. Next up is your W, your smoke screen. So basically what this does is you're going to put down this area, and whichever enemy is in this area is going to get blinded, so they can't see anything outside of this circle. So if I was an enemy, I could only see this inside this circle. I couldn't see my Nexus, I couldn't see the tower, can't see anything. And initially when you land the W onto them, it's going to do a little bit of magic damage and slow them by 50%. So this is two uses for this. Basically, number one usage of this is going to be simply to blind enemies. Like for example, if you have a Malphite running at you, you want to blind him so he doesn't know where to ult. Second possibility of using this is if you're chasing down an enemy, you can use it to slow them and then chase them down. So next up is his E. So his E, basically what it does is, firstly, it's a small dash. Like that, it's a small dash. You can dash over short walls with it, like you see here. And what else it does is when you attack an enemy, and you dash, or not when you attack an enemy, but when you dash and you're not at full bullets, it's gonna actually restore one of your bullets like that. So it allows you to basically shoot 3 bullets instead of just 2, which can be really, really useful. And the last thing it does is actually gives you armor. So every time you dash, you can see on the third ability itself, the icon, it's going to give you a stack. You can see I got 1 stack here. Whenever you attack anything, it's going to refresh that 1 stack. And whenever you dash again, it's going to add another stack. If you dash towards an enemy, it's going to add 2 stacks. So you can see there, I went from 2 to 4. Now I'm going from 4 to 6. But of course, if I dash away from an enemy, I go from 6 to 7. And the maximum stacks is 8. So at 8 stacks, you gain a lot of additional armor. You become a lot more tanky. Finally, at the last one is his ultimate. His ultimate, you can see, fires in this kind of straight line and then into a cone like that. Something to note is it will actually send you back. It is also a dash, so you can actually also use this dash to go over a wall. So for example, over here, I can actually use the ulti to go over a wall. Now this can be useful in very niche situations, like, you know, just needing to go over a wall, basically, like that, if you don't have your dash or flash up. Of course, it does damage to enemies within that line, like that. It also does damage in that cone, like that. But something to note is if you actually hit an enemy like that, it goes into the cone instantly. So you can see here, boom, it goes into that cone instantly when it hits this enemy. Doesn't go all the way to the end of the range. That is, of course, something very important to note as well. So next up, Graves combos. Now Graves doesn't really have, I mean, he does actually have technically a lot of combos if you want to min-max your mechanics, but by and large, I honestly don't think that there's a lot of combos. It is really a lot of ways to really do it. You can start off with, for example, your Q, auto, E, you know, auto, and that kind of thing. But you could always also just walk up to an enemy, just start like auto attacking, dash, auto attack, Q, auto attack, you know, that kind of thing. There really isn't a hard and fast rule for Graves. You could even, for example, walk up and just dash straight onto their face, auto Q, auto, you know, that kind of thing, and then just ult whenever you need to. I guess you could say that the biggest burst combo for Graves is you're like, imagine you're coming for a gank, you dash, auto Q, ult, and this could possibly one-shot someone if you have that much damage or if the guy is really squishy. That could be like one of Graves' combos. So for the tips and tricks, honestly, once again, not much, but the first tip and trick is, of course, to remember to use your Q against the wall. This is really important when you're dealing damage to enemies, but this can also be very important when you're farming jungle camps. So for example, if I'm doing red buff here, instead of you know, launching my Q something like this where it'll be very slow, I can instead launch my Q into the wall, so it's gonna, you know, clear my buff a lot faster, like what you can see here. So of course, when you're clearing, generally you want to spam your E as much as possible, and a kind of I don't know if would really call this a trick, but if you're clearing, you can actually maintain full stacks of your E when you clear your whole red side. So by the time you reach blue side, you will be at somewhere around 6 stacks, and then when you reach blue side, you can actually get up to 8 stacks. And if you clear and maintain your stacks on your E, as you guys can see here, when you reach the skull, you are going to be at full stack. So if you're planning to contest the skull with the enemy, you know, you will be at full stacks, and you will be at a really big advantage because you do get a lot of armor. You can see here that at this point I've gained 18 armor per stack, and this whole like 8 stacks is going to give me like almost 200 armor, but of course I'm at max level. At lower levels it's only going to give you like 6 armor per stack or something like that. And finally is your ultimate. As I mentioned just now, for your ultimate, don't hesitate to use your ultimate for purely the dash, although it's not really optimal all the time. Sometimes, like for example, I'm stuck here, I'm 1 HP, I don't have my dash, I don't have my flash, I can just ult over the wall. Same thing actually goes for dragon. So for example, if I want to go for dragon here, let's say I don't have flash, so I dash over the wall, I smite the dragon, and then I can ult back over the wall to try to escape. So that is another kind of trick that you can do with Graves ult, which is normally not used. Normally Graves ult is just used for damage, but you know, it does have a dash usage as well, which not many people really think about. But that's pretty much it for Graves. Thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.